Rockwood, a small town with a big heart. Nestled among rolling hills, it was the kind of place where everyone knew your name. And if you needed your car fixed, Alex Matthews was the man to see. Alex, the best mechanic in town. His hands, calloused and strong, could coax life back into any engine. He had a gift, a way with machines that bordered on the supernatural. Alex's garage was more than just a place of business, it was his sanctuary, a refuge from the whispers and stares that followed him like shadows. The townsfolk meant well, he knew that, but their pity was a constant reminder of the tragedy that had befallen him, the accident. It had been years, but the memory still lingered, a cruel twist of fate that had taken his family and left him with nothing but scars, physical scars that had healed and invisible ones that ran deep. The garage door rattled shut, the sound echoing in the cavernous space. It was late afternoon, the sun casting long shadows across the oil-stained floor. Alex was elbow-deep in the engine of a Ford pickup when he heard a familiar voice. "Alex, you got a minute? Mike Reynolds," the owner of the local junkyard and Alex's oldest friend. Mike was a mountain of a man, with a booming laugh and a heart of gold. He was one of the few people who could make Alex crack a smile these days. "What brings you here, Mike?" Alex asked, wiping his hands on a rag. "Got something you might be interested in," Mike said, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Just came in this morning. Figured you'd be the first to see it." Intrigued, Alex followed Mike out of the garage and into the fading light of day. Mike led Alex through the maze of scrap metal and rusted-out vehicles that littered his junkyard, a graveyard of forgotten dreams. Alex had always found a certain beauty in the decay, a sense of history and stories untold. They stopped before a large, tarp-covered shape. Alex could make out the outline of a car beneath. A classic from the looks of it. "Go on," Mike urged, his eyes twinkling with anticipation. "Take a peek." Alex hesitated for a moment, then reached out and pulled back the tarp. The setting sun glinted off chrome, revealing a stunning sight, a 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air. Its two-tone paint, turquoise and white, was faded and chipped, but still held a certain charm. The car was a time capsule, a relic from a bygone era. Alex ran a hand along its sleek lines, feeling a strange sense of connection. The car was more than just metal and rubber. It was a symbol of freedom, of adventure, of a time when things were simpler. "She's a beauty, isn't she?" Mike said, a hint of pride in his voice. "Found her tucked away in a barn, covered in dust and cobwebs." Alex nodded, unable to tear his gaze away from the car. He could almost hear the rumble of its engine, feel the wind in his hair. "What are you planning to do with her?" Alex asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Honestly, Alex, I was hoping you'd tell me," Mike replied, clapping a hand on his shoulder. "This car needs a special kind of touch, the kind you got." Alex ran his hand over the Bel Air's hood, his fingers tracing the contours of its emblem. He couldn't explain it, but he felt drawn to the car, as if it were calling out to him. He knew it was crazy. He had enough on his plate without taking on a major restoration project. But something wouldn't let him walk away, a hunch. A feeling deep in his gut that this car was more than just a pile of old parts. "How much?" Alex asked, surprising even himself. Mike named his price. It was fair, more than fair. But it would still take a good chunk of Alex's savings. "You sure about this, Alex?" Mike asked, sensing his friend's hesitation. Alex took a deep breath. He knew it was a gamble, but some risks were worth taking. "Yeah, Mike, I'm sure," Alex said, a newfound determination in his voice. "I'll take it." As they shook hands, sealing the deal, a flock of birds took flight overhead, their cries echoing in the twilight. Alex couldn't help but feel like it was a sign that he was on the right track. The next morning, Alex couldn't wait to get started. He'd had the Bel Air towed to his garage, and now it sat there, bathed in the warm glow of the work lights like a patient awaiting surgery. He popped the hood and was greeted by a thick layer of dust and grime. Years of neglect had taken their toll, but beneath the dirt and decay, Alex could see the potential. He spent the next few hours cleaning and assessing the engine. It was a V8, just as he'd hoped. With a little work, it could roar back to life, but as he worked, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. Something was different about this car. As Alex delved deeper into the engine bay, his fingers brushed against something hard and metallic, hidden beneath the dashboard. It was a small, leather-bound pouch secured with a tarnished silver clasp. Curiosity piqued. Alex carefully pried open the pouch. Inside, he found a stack of old photographs, yellowed with age, and a folded piece of paper. His heart pounded in his chest as he picked up the paper. It was a letter written in elegant cursive script. The date at the top sent a chill down his spine. It was dated the same day his family had died. The letter was a confession that made Alex's blood run cold. It detailed a conspiracy, a cover-up that went far beyond anything he could have imagined, and at the center of it all was the 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air. Alex's world spun as he read the words, each one a hammer blow to his soul. The car he had purchased, the car he felt inexplicably drawn to, held the key to uncovering the truth about his family's fate. He had stumbled upon something far bigger than himself. Something dangerous, but he couldn't ignore it. He owed it to his family to find out the truth, no matter the cost. The Bel Air, once a symbol of hope and a link to the past, had become something else entirely. It was now a beacon, guiding him down a path of darkness and danger, a path that led to the heart of a conspiracy that had haunted him for years.